Good morning and welcome back. I'm here again with Mike. Sorry about the slight glitch in the delays. There was some corruption issues with the video I shot with my sister, so Mike's here to fill in.
Hello, folks.
So, let's get to it. Pedanticism.
I think it's always useless. I think strict adherence to the rules without any thought to circumstance, you are begging for this world to find a way to screw you. The day you say, this is always wrong, the world is going to show you a gray. The world is going to put your prize on the other side of that bridge.
Yeah.
So,
but I think to a degree, pedanticism does have value. Because
I think pedanticism, by its definition, has no degree except extremism. When does somebody get accused of that? When they are choosing to apply laws when truthfully you should be trying to apply
theory?
Your greatest reason, your most...
Well, there are certain things where you need to be pedantic.
Name one.
Architecture. How you measure.
So you would call Lloyd Wright, Frank Lloyd Wright. You would say the way he designs a building is pedantic?
In one sense, yes. Because he's forced to use either the metric system or the imperial system. And that is a pedantic system.
That's like saying if somebody built a car with square wheels, it would still be just another car as long as they used standard tools. Like, no, it's still weird. Like, it's still not adherence to standard practice. There is no reverence given to form beyond its utility. Like, the thing about pedanticism is it's about when to put it down, and pedantic people are always being accused of never putting it down. And I think Frank Lloyd Wright was very willing to pick up and put down the rules whenever it suited him. I would not call him pedantic at all.
See, but
some of the systems he was forced to use as tools may be pedantic. Yes, an inch is always an inch, but that's not a rule. Like, that
is a rule, though. By definition, an inch being an inch is a rule.
You're being verbally pedantic.
Where do you think the term ruler came from?
Oh, you whore. I heard that when I said it. I heard it when I used the word rule. I actually heard it. I inspired that, didn't I?
Yes,
you
did.
It.
Yes, you did. But, I mean, really, though, in certain instances, it is a necessary evil. Like,
I value improvisation way too highly, I guess.
Improv does have a lot of use. Divergence has a lot of use. But pedanticism also does have use.
All right.
And that's where you get the term overly pedantic. It's not in
I don't think people use the word overly, or if they do, they're being hyperbolic and truthfully showing their lack of pedanticism by even applying that word. It's
not necessarily, because what they're implying is you're not only just pedantic in one specific thing, like how you measure things or how you lay things out, but through every step of your life, you're pedantic in every single thing.
Is that the usual complaint? I thought people would be usually complaining that when it was a job where creativity would have been helpful, but instead these people need to hold to the rule because it's all they know. It's all they're comfortable with.
Usually that's my complaint with PennDOT and how they produce their plans.
PennDOT. You got people from all over. I don't know if they'll know what that is.
United States Pennsylvania Department of Transportation, when they lay out their plans, they are by a very strict rule book in how they're designed, laid out, with little to no thought of improving the efficiency of which the plans could be understood.
Easily.
They are the most...
Can you give an example that our crowd and I would be able to keep up with?
Okay, you have, they're printed on 24 by 36 inch sheets.
Okay.
So there were these big sheets. And instead of referencing all the material for page 1 on page 1 or even page 1 and 2, it's on page 1, 6, 12, 13, 36, and 48. But you need to know all of those all those pieces of information to understand page 1. And it's like that for their entire plan.
What's the utility in that? So you read the whole plan before you start working? Like,
Yes.
Is that why they did it?
The reason behind it was to make sure there was no cross information possible. In practice, to do a takeoff or to do a quote for something, it is the most confusing, most backwards thing to work with. Laying the information out is simple. It's the simplest way to lay the information out. To understand the information, it's a pain in the ass. Plain and simple. So instead of being creative with how they display the information, where they display the information, they adhere to these very simple, strict rules, which at the end of the day just complicates everything. It just makes everything a big mess. Whereas in most other places, if you're doing, a layout for anything, even if it's the same type of work, but it's done by an engineering company or an architect or whatever, for a private thing instead of a PennDOT job, it's usually a lot more intuitive.
I just thought of one, proving against my own point. Cooking. If I go to a restaurant and I like the pizza, when I show up again, I don't want you to improvise. I don't want you to improvise. Not one bit. I want the exact same pizza every time. And how do you achieve that?
Being pedantic.
Strict adherence to everything. Yeah.
And that's how why fast food chains are so ubiquitous and profitable. It's because they're pedantic. And that's why no matter where you go, a Big Mac tastes like a Big Mac. Pizza Hut tastes like Pizza Hut. Period. So there is utility in it. Is there joy in it? No. I don't think there's any joy in it. I can't see any reason to have joy in it unless you are of a very, very unique mind.
Oh, I think you're going to get a comment. I do.
I'm sure I will.
Somebody's going to be like, no, I need that. I love it. It makes breathing easier.
Again, it has its use. But if it makes breathing easier, there's already utility in there. That's not joy, that's utility. Shut up. I know. Bring on the comments. Bring on the hate.
Get them.
It'll increase my audience engagement.
There you go.
Which will just give me more hits and everything else.
There you go.
So, I'm gonna speak my mind.
There
Guys,
you go.
what do you think about this? Because we're not coming to a very good conclusion, either one of us.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Ugh. Yeah, that's a tough one. I hate whenever I get a whiff of it. Besides food. Like that one, I can't get around. That's so wild I found one. Because in most of my life, I'd be like, God, no. Always try to see more than just the most obvious A to B way, because you'll just miss so much. But if somebody's cooking my food, I want you to miss all that. I want my food over and over again. Perfect. Exactly the way I expect it. Like tonight, that pizza. It was all limp.
Yeah, you like your pepperoni pizza crispy.
Yeah, well done. Yep. And I ordered it that way. And because they weren't pedantic, it was not good. Not as good.
I mean, and there are industries where that is prized, being pedantic.
Yeah.
Like being a welder on a pipe fitting job.
Yeah, I guess you wouldn't want improvisation.
You want a perfect weld every single time. You want it to look like a machine did it. Building cars, you want those robots to be very pedantic.
Well, I don't think a robot has a choice. I've never heard of a robot that could improvise.
Yeah, but you want it to be precise to the same thing, always following the same rule constantly.
Yeah. All right. So when does it offend me most? Language?
I think it's most offensive when the utility of the task isn't paramount.
So what? Art?
Art, but there are even pedantic things in art.
Yeah.
Such as the definitions of different styles of art.
Right.
Which you have to be pedantic about so you can classify things and blah, blah, blah. I think for you, and this is where it bugs me the most, is when there is the extremism of ideals, like where it removes human thought in human situations. Most of the conclusions I come to are in school. It's always this: there is no tolerance for the zero tolerance policies. That is pedantic behavior, and I think it is absolutely wrong. There's zero tolerance for fights. What if you're defending yourself? Why should you both get punished? No. There is zero tolerance for so many different things. I think all zero tolerance rules are bullshit.
I accept the challenge. I think I could find one or two that you might not feel that way about. Strict adherence.
I mean, Daniel Tosh brought up one in one of his comedy skits. There is zero tolerance for hitting a woman. Sounds good. Makes sense until you test it.
A woman's on fire.
What if you come home from work and your woman has drowned 2 of your kids and she's working on number 3? Can you hit her then? But there's zero tolerance for it.
Yeah. So maybe it's just a matter of intractability, not a matter of whether or not you're holding on to the rules or not that bothers me, but rather if I can tell that there is no circumstance where you'd even think about going outside the rules, that I label you as pedantic. If yeah, is it just like you said, if utility is not paramount and you're still holding on to the rules fully, you're taking all the love out of the project, whatever it is. You're bound to get something ineffectual, half-assed, unimpressive. Isn't that funny? Something as simple as whether or not to obey the rules is worth discussion, is a conflict.
Well, I mean, you got to think. There are so many different situations that a thin rule book can't possibly handle them all. So if you really want to do it, the only way to do that, and I think, the biggest reason, I can understand the reason behind zero tolerance rules, is to cover their own asses for liability purposes. Because you can tell, I can just see it right now, if little Jimmy beats Bobby, Bobby defends himself, and Jimmy gets suspended, Bobby doesn't, Jimmy's mommy's gonna sue. Even though he was the one who was in the wrong, he was the one who should have gotten punished. By all rights, he's the one that needs the punishment she's still going to sue the school. So in order to save their own selves, the school handles
Just
it all.
eliminates the whole problem.
Yep. And that's just a CYA type deal. Cover your own ass, by the way.
Oof.
Which, I mean, that's how everything in this world is being set up. Like the zero tolerance for gun policy. On the surface, it sounds good. But then you run into the situation. Kid bites a Pop-Tart to look like a gun. You take one bite out of a Pop-Tart, you can argue it looks kind of like a gun.
I don't care if you design it with a, what do you call it, one of those special knives. I don't care what amount of detail you go to. If it's a Pop-Tart, that's ridiculous.
But
X-Acto knife,
there
that's
again,
the word I was looking for.
There and again, they have to cover themselves because lawsuits. But when you put it to the test,
Still
it looks
covering
ridiculous.
up shitty thinking.
Yeah, it is.
Like, all right, yeah, it eliminates the problem. Yes, by throwing away the baby with the bathwater. Is that a solution? Hardly. If all you're worried about is mere survival, I guess that's good enough. Subtlety's important. And I don't enjoy people who don't understand that there's a place for that. That it's impossible for rules to always fit a scenario.
And this is why you have things like warning labels on so many different things.
Ooh, I hate to even equate them.
It's the same reasoning though. It's for lawsuits.
It is, and it avoids misunderstandings. It's
Caution.
I get it.
Caution. Coffee is hot.
Don't use this hairdryer in the shower.
Don't use the hairdryer in the shower. There is one guy. They actually on boxes they have to label them now.
Do not eat.
These are not handles because one guy would disassemble his lawnmower every day after he was done using it, put it in the box, lift it up onto the shelf by the handles.
Jeez.
And eventually the cardboard box broke down enough that when he went to take it off or put it back on, I forget which, it fell and hit his head and there was a big lawsuit.
Jesus.
Even though everyone knows they're handles to help handle the thing, they have to say they're not handles because of this guy. Pedanticism. Zero tolerance rules. It's all for
The lowest common denominator.
Yep. And lawyers love finding that lowest common denominator because every time they do, it's a slam dunk case.
Yeah, they probably don't even have to worry much about laws, just a convincing argument. I get that.
And if you're on the lawyer's side, you're giggling all the way to the bank. For everyone else in society,
Yeah, right.
it's just a collective groan when it comes on the evening news. Like, geez, really? Really? But there and again, so pedanticism does have its use. Even if you don't like it, it's still there. And it benefits you.
Yeah. Yeah, can't deny that pizza. Can't.
When was the last time you had to get custom shoes made?
I
I mean, really though.
If it was a viable option, I would. I have a hard time finding shoes that suit me.
Yeah, but now that you have those are the second or third time you've bought them.
Yeah.
They're exactly the same as the first.
And if they were any different, I'd be upset.
Does have its use.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Is it...
Am I being too pedantic in my hate of pedantry? What was it again?
Pedanticism.
Pedanticism. There should be a tree word there in the conjugation of it. Pedantry. Pedantry.
I don't know.
Yeah. Get back to me with that one too. Pedantry. Ah! That's what it is.
Sounds like penetration.
Dare you to leave that part in.
I had to.
Pedantry. I got it.
So let me know in the comment section down below, guys.
Yes.
Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. And please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I release new content every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to the best of my ability. And especially about that comment part, that's real important on these philosophy questions, because this whole thing is about understanding and talking, and the only way you can do that is through discourse. So let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below.
Do your job. Comment.
Thanks for watching, guys, and remember, stay thoughtful. I'll see you next week.
Have a good one.